Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the newest edition of the Quarantine Concert Series. I'm your host, Kabir Segal, and it's Friday night. So we have a very special program lined up for you tonight. But first, I want to kind of put out the public service announcements. Thanks for joining me in my parents' home, coming to you live from the dining room table. My parents are sleeping upstairs, and this is our 23rd show. We've been doing this every night at 10 p.m. Eastern, featuring artists who are amazing and talented and virtuosic, especially the case tonight. We're doing this obviously because we're going through a national emergency. A lot of people have lost their way of lives, gigs, the artists, producers, engineers, anyone touching live events has had their gigs and way of life really negatively impacted. So this is a concert series in earnest to sort of put the spotlight back where it belongs. And if you know someone in the creative world, reach out to them, see if you can help them buy their music, stream their music, be a fan, all that stuff. Number two, we're streaming everywhere. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. So just tune in. And I want to thank our partners at Facebook and thank our partners at LinkedIn for supporting these broadcasts. And lastly, if you are you can see up there, that's the whole archive of shows. Lastly, if you're an artist who wants to get on the show, send me a note on Facebook or Instagram. We'll try to get you on. There's a waiting list of about 40 artists we're trying to work through as quickly as we can through the demand. And again, 10 p.m. Eastern every night. On the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, I do matinees, 3 p.m. So I try to time it according to my parents taking a nap. So they are noticed to take a nap at 3 p.m. tomorrow. And we'll have a show at 3 p.m. tomorrow Eastern and a show at 10 p.m. Eastern. So thanks for for tuning in, especially on tonight. And I'm very, very excited about the guest we have tonight. And she's an incredible artist. I've known her for several years now. But in doing my research about her, I've learned even more. And I'm just so deeply impressed with her professionalism. She's an entrepreneur. She's industrious. She's a virtuoso. And I think she's one of the most exciting artists in all of music, full stop. So please welcome to the show, Grace Kelly.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. First of all, how are you doing? How is the pandemic? Where are you quarantined right now, and how is it affecting you?
I'm currently in New York. I'm home. It's been a very interesting time. A lot of online concerts and live streams. Most of my gigs, well, no, all of my gigs got rescheduled or canceled, and kind of broke my heart a bit because, I was really looking forward to being out there with folks and getting on the stage and giving people big sweaty hugs. But the most important thing is that people are staying healthy and safe. I'm super healthy and happy at home, and really just grateful for the internet and being able to be with fans that way. But it's just an interesting time of just like navigating how to still connect with fans and work with technology and try to get that intimate feeling that performances really bring a lot of times. So there's been a lot of growth in how to like expand my business online and connect
Yeah.
through social media.
What are some of the gigs? What are some of the gigs that you canceled? So that people have a sense. Some people have a sense of the opportunities that have been nixed.
Yeah, so I was actually supposed to record my next live album on April 10th, which I had announced like 3 months ago. It was going to be live in Boston at the Berkeley Performance Center. I was going to have my full band, special guests, and dancers. We were going to have like a 4 camera shoot. I was doing a ton of promo leading up to that, and before we did the live recording, we were going to do like 6 shows in Washington, D.C., Connecticut, Rhode Island, basically just ramp up for the show so that we were ready. And we were going to do rehearsals the whole week before. And yeah, that all came to a screeching halt. Um, so that was definitely unexpected. And right after that, we were supposed to go to Nebraska and do a few other hits on the West Coast. So that was it was changed.
Yeah, I hear you. And now you're quarantined in your room. What room is that? It seems like it's your like a music workshop or something.
Yeah, this is my music studio. So this is where I make all my music. I do all my live streams from here, and I teach all my Skype lessons.
What's the
Uh,
setup there? You have a whole cabinet full of or showroom of instruments. What do you have in the room?
yeah, so I got my baritone sax, which I've played quite a lot on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert when I was in the house band there. I got my other alto, my flute, and soprano. Got some guitars. Got my keyboard, which pulls. I'll show you. Uh, Keyboard set up right there. Got my speakers and recording equipment.
Very nice.
My camera's right in front of me, so and the plants are in front of me too.
Where do you keep any of this stuff? Close
Oh
by?
yes, that's definitely close by. Yes,
Okay.
and in the entrance is my boyfriend and I have a very when we come inside, we just like take off, all hats, gloves, hand sanitizers right there. Go straight to the yeah, go straight to the sink. Exactly. Shower with hand sanitizer. All that.
That's why I use so much of this stuff. I do actually put it on the mic after I'm done. Don't tell Camila; he might freak out at me. Camila's our sound engineer who basically gives us spiritual counseling before we go live. Because every artist has been having to be their own tech in a way.
Yeah,
So
which
we
is a
will
new
love.
thing.
It is a new thing. It isn't. But
Yeah.
you do a lot with electronics these days. You're doing electronic music, so and that's been a sort of evolution into your sound. I'd love to talk about that some more. But I want to talk about first. What is your latest release that you have out?
Yeah, so my latest release is called Go Time Live in LA. I started a series from a couple years ago that was a way of merging um, an audio release with live video. And so I'd bring in a 4 camera shoot and have my band in the studio and special guests and have my audience. I think we had about like 10 people at the first one, which by the way, all these videos are up on YouTube so people can watch the studio sessions. Have my audience all on Bluetooth speakers, and we recorded the album there and then put up all the video versions on YouTube. So friends, if they prefer to watch it, they can enjoy the music that way. And then also the quality of the audio is studio recorded quality. So then we would put all that on CD, streaming. The idea being get the music out there in any way that people take in their music. And so we did a similar thing for my latest album, Go Time Live in LA, except we did it live. So that we recorded in Los Angeles, but again, brought in all the studio gear and had the camera shoot. And then people can also watch that. All the songs are up on YouTube as well.
Are you playing a note when you're in the middle of the air like that?
Am I playing a note?
Yeah, in that shot.
Um, I, mm, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you and everyone listening. It was a lot to jump with pointed feet because the thing of getting the levitating shot, it's like there's a whole science behind it. And the photographer Mehdi Hassine who took this, he has an incredible levitating photo series. And so he was like, we practiced for like 5 minutes before of just how to jump. So I don't think there was actually a sound coming out.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, I thought I might be Photoshop, but it looks you really were jumping.
I was
So
really jumping. Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure.
awesome. What would you like to start your performance with tonight?
Maybe I'll just start with even as a little warm up, a solo thing for all of you.
Cool.
Um, I'm just gonna pull up a song for a moment because I want to pay tribute to the great Ellis Marsalis, who just passed away, and it was so heartbreaking to hear about his passing and how and passing due to corona. And I was listening to some of his music earlier, and I thought this might be a great song. It's called "I Can't Give You Anything But Love." It's a great standard, and I feel like it came on, and I was like, oh, I want to play a little piece of that tonight.
Yeah,
Oh my god, I had no idea there was a giant crowd.
they love you here. Yep,
Wow.
and they're very well trained. Check this out.
Oh my god.
And see, they stop right on command.
That's unbelievable. I was really.
They were all in the military. They follow marching orders very very well. That was beautiful and a very poignant tribute to the great Ellis Marsalis. We've lost some great musicians this week. It's really been such a drag.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, like every day brings like even worse news. Wallace Roney
I know.
and Ellis and
Bill Withers today.
Bill Withers, Bucky Pizzarelli. It's like coming in spades. Do you have a favorite Bill Withers song?
I do actually. I could play. I recorded "Ain't No Sunshine" a long time ago, and it's a little improvised. "Ain't No Sunshine."
I love it.
My gosh. It's kind of reminding me that sound of there is a Guitar Center in Midtown Manhattan,
Yep.
and when you walk in, you take the escalator, and then you see this giant virtual wall
Oh,
of like a stadium of people, and
this
then
is
you
on
enter.
14th Street.
I think it's the one in Times Square, actually,
Okay.
which would be like pretty. Yeah, it makes sense. And I just, it, you really feel like a rock star. I guess that's the whole idea, right?
You are.
Like,
You are a
and
rock
you
star.
enter this store, and then you're like, I'm gonna buy everything.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I want people to know a little bit about. We talked about your most recent release. You've been at this for a minute. I mean, you've been putting out projects. I was going through your discography, and I was like, where does it begin? And I kept like scrolling down and scrolling down. I was like, wow, she's been. And it for me. I was so impressed with your prolificness because I know it's like a way of life, and it's creating, and it's being just on the go all the time, and just the volume of stuff you put out, it's very like motivating to
Oh,
see
thank you.
what you've done. And so you
Well,
know,
likewise.
yeah, but you know,
Absolutely likewise.
yeah, but you know, people like a lot of people will talk about being prolific, and I tend to like shy away from that because that doesn't speak to the quality sometimes of like, oh, people think you do a lot of stuff, but the quality of what you do it as well is like first rate, top class productions. Can you tell everyone about some of the first productions you put out, how old you were when you put out your first album, and why did you start so early releasing music?
Yeah. Well, thanks, Kabir. That really means a lot coming from you. I did not expect to become a professional musician at all. I'm very, very grateful to have this opportunity of performing, recording, being an artist, and sharing my music with the world, and for people to come to the shows and virtual concerts. Um, my first recording was when I was 12 years old. I released an album called Dreaming, and basically how it came about was my music teacher from my middle school. He had heard my talent since I was in kindergarten. His name's Ken Berman. He's out in the West Coast now, and he happens to be a great jazz pianist. So like, go figure, right? I was in public school, got so lucky of having an amazing public school music teacher who plays jazz piano, and he really was just so supportive, and he would have me sing in front of all the big kids in 8th grade when I was in like 1st grade, and he'd have me on stage, and he found my first saxophone teacher. And so at that point, I had linked up with my saxophone teacher. I always wanted to play the saxophone. I started at the age of 10. 6 weeks into playing, I was already playing like Besame Mucho, My Funny Valentine. Uh, we went we went past all of the, I just wanted to get straight to the tunes, because I said to my teacher, like, I've been hearing Frank Sinatra playing, he's been singing these songs, and I really want to learn Besame Mucho. And so he taught them to me by ear. And I just started excelling really fast and becoming just so obsessed with the saxophone. I would like practice till like midnight. I was 10 years old. My parents would yell and say, Grace, go to bed. You got to go to school in the morning. And I've always been singing and songwriting since I was really young. I wrote my first song when I was 7 years old, and it was like a country song. And so that part of me has just been a deep expression. And so at that point, let's see, like 2 years later, after I started saxophone, my music teacher, Ken Berman, said, Grace, what you're doing is quite phenomenal, and I think you should record some songs and document what you're doing so that when you're 40 years old, yeah, exactly. Here I am, 13 years old. He said, so that when you're much older, you can listen back and know what you were doing. It was never for it to become a professional career. And, he said, I'll play on it. And he's like, call John Lockwood. He's the greatest bass player in town, and he's played with Stan Getz and Dizzy Gillespie and teaches at the Berklee College of Music. So these Berklee College music professors played on my first album with me, and then I had my first CD release concert, and I started to do exactly what you're showing. I started to have basically a release every year, and it was really for it to become just a documentation process. It wasn't even for it to become a commercial thing. But what happened with actually this album, Every Road I Walked, it started to get national jazz radio play, and one of the legendary DJs in Boston, Eric Jackson, he started playing this on WGBH, and great trumpeter Christian Scott guested on this record, and it just kind of like had so many wonderful musicians join me from all of these recordings, and that's basically how my recording career started. It was very, very organic, nothing that I ever like planned to become this like career.
Yeah. Why a project with Phil Woods?
Oh my God, Phil, one of my absolute saxophone. He's just one of my biggest inspirations on the saxophone. I met Phil when I was, I think I was 16 or 17 years old at the Stanford Jazz Workshop. He was a guest faculty member that week, and I remember just being so excited at the idea that I get to meet him. And as fate would have it, I was in an ensemble that was right before his. And he would come early and he'd like watch my ensemble. And he said to me, like, just some really encouraging words. And I was like, oh my God, it's Phil Woods just like watching us play tunes. And shortly after that, he invited me on stage to sit in with him when he was in Massachusetts. And I sat in with him, and that clip's actually on YouTube. It's Grace Kelly and Phil Woods, and he took off his hat and he put it on my head, and I tried to give it back, and he said, "No, you keep that. That's yours." And then a little bit later, we ended up recording that album together, Man with a Hat. He toured with my band. We toured that record and played the Playboy Jazz Festival, Montreal Jazz Festival, Montreux, Newport. We were literally in a van together. My dad was driving the van, and the whole band was in it, and we were driving all around Germany and having these great tours and learning so much from Phil. Hearing his stories as we were eating schnitzel and talking about, his when he first met Charlie Parker, and
Wow.
it really like a lot of pinch me moments.
Sure, sure. I want to talk a little bit more about your discography, but perhaps you could play another song for us.
Yeah, for sure. So, let's see if I've. Speaking of technical proficiencies, I am gonna see if this paired with my Bluetooth speaker. And this is a Gracified rendition of a Ray Charles song called "Unchain My Heart." Unchain my heart, baby, set me free. Unchain my heart, 'cause you don't care about me. You got me sewed up like a pillowcase, but you let love go to the waste. So unchain my heart, please set me free. Unchain my heart, let me go my way. Unchain my heart, you worry me night and day. Every time I call you on the phone, some woman tells me that you're not at home. So unchain my heart, please set me free. Unchain my heart, let me go my way. Unchain my heart, you worry me night and day. Every time I call you on the phone, some woman tells me that you're not at home. So unchain my heart, please set me free.
Yeah.
Oh! The greatest crowd. Thank you.
Of course.
So much.
Be able to go as long as you want. Just
Unbelievable. The greatest crowd I've heard in a while. Certainly the best out of all my streaming.
Exactly.
So real.
Yeah, I know, right? You mentioned you were playing at the front of the show. First of all, that was an awesome rendition, so thanks for that. Your front of the show, the bass saxophone, baritone saxophone rather. You're playing on the Colbert Show. How did that come about?
Yes, so kind of a wild story, but I was living in LA at that time. I moved out to LA probably like 5 years ago after I had gone to Berklee College of Music, and I really felt like it was time to just explore new territory. And so I went out there and was having so much fun. A lot of great opportunities were coming up of like having my music in film and TV and doing a lot of singing and songwriting and doing some TV show work and just a groovy time. And I remember I came back to New York because I was a part of an incredible music documentary called Sound of Redemption about one of my saxophone mentors, Frank Morgan. So I was there for the premiere because I'm in the documentary, and I was supposed to leave like the next day. It was in December, and this was about like I think 4 years ago. And is that right? I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. I'm really bad at dates. But anyways, I was in the Uber and my phone rang, and it was the band leader, John Batiste. He's a dear friend of mine. John and I have been making music together actually for many years. He's a guest on one of my past albums, trying to figure it out. And before he was on The Late Show, he was just gigging, doing his thing. And I've always been a really big fan of his. And so he'd have me on. In the past, he had me on the Blue Note. At Blue Note with them, and I was a special guest, and then I played at Newport with him in the band, and we did a lot of like just like late night jam sessions and became friends. And he's just so brilliant and really, really cool dude. And so anyways, I got this text and he was like, "Hey Grace, what's up? Like, remind me all of the saxophones and woodwinds that you play. I know you play alto and you sing, but do you play baritone? Do you play clarinet?" And it was kind of out of the blue, but that's what was happening with John. Sometimes I just get his text, and whenever we're together, it's like we pick up where we left. And I was like, I play baritone, I play clarinet. And I was kind of thinking in the back of my head, like maybe this is something for a future gig. And it's true that I do play those woodwinds, but I haven't played the baritone since 8th grade. And I hadn't played the clarinet since 4th grade. And for any of your listeners out there, you like the clarinet is not like the saxophone. Maybe the only thing that's similar is like your embouchure in the reed, but like all the fingerings are super different. And I remember I started on clarinet in 4th grade and it scarred me. I was just like, I really had just like, oh, I love the instrument, but when I played it, it was squeaking, it was squawking, and I was so desperately trying to get to saxophone. But anyways, in that moment, something just came over me and I was like, yeah, play those instruments. And then he said, "Oh, super cool. What are you doing tomorrow?" Actually, no, sorry. "What are you doing on Monday?" It was a Friday. And I was like, and he was like, "Do you want to come play in the late show?" Um and I was like, "Well, yeah. Yeah." And he's like, "But cool. So like see you there, bring all the axes." And so, by the way, I only had one outfit with me and my alto because I wasn't even living in New York. So I was like, oh my God, I don't even have the instruments. So I call my family at Yamaha. I'm a Yamaha artist. And they go, "Grace, this is awesome. Take a deep breath. We're going to get you into the shop and get you the horns tomorrow." And so I spent the weekend practicing the clarinet, the baritone sax, and the other big kicker of all of this, Kabir, was I didn't know what music we were gonna play, and he didn't
Hmm.
like. My next question was like, "What are we gonna play?" And I just no response. And so I called the trumpet player who's in the band, a good friend of mine, and he was like, it could be anything. That's just the way that we roll and John rolls, and I know that from the past. And he's like,
Yeah.
just bring some manuscript paper, and he's like, learn the theme song and just try to go through as many clips as you can. Like, so I went on YouTube that whole weekend and tried to refresh just the whole portfolio of music that I'd play with him,
Hmm.
learn the theme song, but I was also learning the theme song on about 6 different instruments because I didn't know which one I was going to play. And it was actually only supposed to be like a 2-week stint with them, which turned into like half the year. And every day we were learning new songs. And I love the way that John rolls because
Yeah.
it's so spontaneous. He's so brilliant, like in the moment. And I learned so much in that time. Also, it was my first time like being in a TV studio with, you know, Stephen Colbert right there. And like, "Hey, what's up, Grace?" Like,
Yeah.
he knew my name the first day, and just the tech crew and wardrobe and playing all these different instruments, and then a huge, like a not a huge crowd, but every day there was about like 500 people that would come into the studio, and the magic of television is pretty wild because you're working on new things every single day.
Hmm.
And then
Hmm.
it's like down to the countdown, and certain things just aren't like ready or done. But as soon as those curtains part, it's like, hey,
Exactly.
what's
Yeah.
up? Yeah.
Well,
So
you're an incredible asset to the show. John is an incredible asset to the show. You both are, make great music. I just finished producing a album featuring John. I don't know when it's
so
going to come
cool.
out.
Oh
Yeah,
my
he's
gosh.
he's very charismatic to have in the studio. We had him all. Everyone was just, electrified by his presence. So I can imagine just the two of you together there must have been the highlight of the Colbert musical experience for everyone. I'm sure Stephen
Yeah.
Colbert was deeply impressed with you too.
Yeah, well, gosh, he's so cool. And sometimes in the commercial breaks, he just like come and sing and do pirouettes. There's like nothing Stephen Colbert cannot do. He can do like 4 pirouettes in a row. It's unbelievable because there's usually like there was 20 minutes before we went live, and that's where the audience would ask him questions.
Hmm.
And sometimes he's just sing with us. He's got great pitch, great phrasing. He do pirouettes. He knows about everything. He's so charismatic and awesome, and also just so kind and
Hmm.
wonderful and like non-Hollywood in the best way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Well, that sounds awesome. Thanks for sharing that
Yeah.
part of your career with us. What would you like to play next
Yeah,
for
so
us?
I have there's a song of mine, and I wrote it a little while back, and it's kind of become a very special song to a lot of people. Love song that I wrote for my boyfriend, and it ended up winning the John Lennon songwriting contest for Song of the Year um, in 2000 last year. And I can
There it
play that
is,
for you guys now. I'll do that for
right?
you. Yeah, that's it. I was Prince Royce, which was so cool. He had handed me the check and the award, and also Brian, who's the founder of the John Lennon Songwriting Contest, and it was a really really surreal day. This song was actually it won in the country category,
Wow.
and it was just a song that I wrote in my pajamas in about 45 minutes. Um, when I had first met my boyfriend, and I'll do that for you guys now. It's called Feels Like Home, and it's also up on YouTube and all the streaming and this is for all the lovers out there. I wrote this as I was exploring coffee shops and walks with my boyfriend, and just really falling in love in every sense of the word. Walking the Brooklyn Bridge, getting to know each other and each other's stories. Very special time. Suddenly I'm falling 1,000 stories high. It's amazing and it's crazy, and I'm strangely satisfied. You grab my hand and the colors in my world come alive, but I never planned to fall in love. We watch the hours and the sunlight run away, talking of dreams, childhood memories, and family holidays. You were a stranger, then a lover, now something more I cannot say. Maybe this time it could be love, 'cause you feel like home when I look into your eyes. Your kisses taste like sunshine. You turn me on so bright. You feel like home. You feel like home on a starlit summer night. You're the drumbeat of my heart. Your loving red as wine. Oh, you feel like home. Suddenly I'm falling 1,000 stories high, and it's too late to turn back now. So I look deep into your eyes. You pull me close, kiss me softly under the city light, and somewhere in there I fell in love. You feel like home when I look into your eyes. Your kisses taste like sunshine. You turn me on so bright. You feel like home. I didn't see it coming, but this time I'm not running. You feel like home when I look into your eyes. Your kisses taste like sunshine. You turn me on so bright. You feel like home. You feel like home on a starlit summer night. You're the drumbeat of my heart. Your loving red eyes wine. Oh, you feel like home. You feel like home when I look into your eyes. Oh, your kisses taste like sunshine. You turn me on so bright. You feel like home. You feel like home on a starlit summer night. You're the drumbeat of my heart. Your loving red eyes wine. Oh, you feel like home. You're the drumbeat of my heart. Your loving red eyes wine. Oh, you feel like home. You're the drumbeat of my heart. Your loving red eyes wine. That just made my day. Wow.
You're making our night.
That is the most passionate longest applause I've ever received. Wow. Thank you.
I keep going if you want. No, it's still beautiful. That had us all. I could put some of these comments on the screen. Check us out. Like, a feel good song, love above all,
Gosh.
searching for peace.
Hi, Larry. Oh, it's so nice to see pants on.
Just beautiful.
That's so nice. Thank
And
you.
someone's
all.
talking about the artwork. Love the cover.
Oh, thank you. That was Abby Ross who did the cover. She's awesome.
When did you this sounds like a very simple question, but when did you start singing? Like, not when you started singing in your life, but when did you start recording yourself singing?
I actually recorded myself singing on my first album when I was 12 years old. And I was, even back then, I was writing a lot of pop songs and country songs. There's actually a song called Not Feels Like Home. My very first song that I wrote at 7 years old is called On My Way Home. So there's obviously like this lingering thing about home, and here we are, right, quarantined at home.
Right.
But that song was all about being on a train and looking at like the cows and so I think once I started saxophone, it kind of took more of a front seat in a lot of my jazz career. But I've always been singing and songwriting throughout all this time, and I think as far as like as far as expressing, I feel like songwriting is such a powerful tool to get the feelings that I have inside out and to be able to write words and to be able to connect with people in a very different way than I connect with people on the saxophone. Although sometimes people say you play sax like you sing and you sing like you play sax, which is a great compliment to me. But I just feel like I use them as two different mediums. It's like vocals and songwriting have these words and have like stories that I can tell that way. Saxophone playing, I have my stories that I can tell in a different way, and I have a way of like using dynamics with the instrument in a very different way than when I'm singing.
Yeah.
But I love all being able to express in all of those different capacities.
Talking about being at home, Daisy mentions here that sounds like there might be a trilogy, considering we're quarantined at home. Do you think our time quarantine, have you found it to be a very creative time? Are you putting pen to paper and writing material right now?
Yeah, I found it to be an incredibly creative time. I mean, this is the first time in my life that I've been able to have like a regular routine and just like be at home, and I'm really, really enjoying that. Writing a bunch of music, and also that's a very creative process. And I'm also working on a lot of teaching curriculum as well. And I've been teaching students via Skype and also working on an upcoming online course. And
Tell us about that.
yeah, so a buddy of mine who's a brilliant entertainer. He's a saxophonist and dancer. He's Beyonce's favorite saxophonist. His name's Leo P. He's got a great band called Too Many Zoos. Him and I have paired up from years ago, making a lot of videos. Some of them have gone super viral online, and we decided last December to just make it a little bit more official, and so we started a collaborative band name called Too Saxy, and we really like the sax puns. This particular project, we can't get enough of the sax puns. So we got our Saxy gang. A lot of our followers on Instagram were at We Are Too Saxy. And so we held our first ever online workshop like 3 weeks ago. And we dove into the curriculum of saxophone techniques, stage performance, talked a bit about music business. And this coming Tuesday on April 7th, we're back with our second online workshop. And this time we're specifically focusing in on saxophone techniques. So if any of you there are saxophonists or know of saxophonists, this is going to be a 2-hour-long workshop. It's only $50. We're going to give you a ton of exercises and techniques to go through. And we're going to also bring on some attendees to be on video with us and go through the exercises real time. And this is really our way of like showing you our techniques and where we've been able to take these concepts of long tones, overtones, building your own practice technique in your schedule, tonguing, very like nerdy saxophone things, but there's techniques we both built within them and exercises that we want to show you. And ultimately, we want people that are in the workshop to leave and feel like they can improve faster and better in the practice room, know exactly what to work on. We had such a great turnout from our first workshop, and we had a lot of folks saying, please do more, please do more. So we're back from all
Awesome.
of y'all. So yeah,
So Tuesday is the next one.
this Tuesday, April
You're
7th.
turning Tuesday into Saxer Day.
Saxer Day, yes. And that's, to get back to your question, Kabir, writing curriculum is very, and teaching others is this very reflective thing for me. It's kind of similar to songwriting in that it's like reflective. I'm trying to teach myself how I'm doing a lot of things that I do intuitively. I'm breaking it down, and I do a similar thing with songwriting. Like when I listen to someone else's song, it's like, oh, I really like that. Why do I like that? Ooh, this is a verse, chorus, verse form. Oh, cool. Like, let me try to write something like that. So it's been really cool to kind of switch back and forth between like, this is, me doing my performance thing and my writing thing and doing live streams for fans and playing the music. This is me like working on deeper into some curriculum and really getting my process of teaching clearer and working with my students online, doing online workshops. And I think it's all just really interesting, and I'm really enjoying the process.
Sounds like a great process. Tell me, would you like to play one? What would you like to play last for us?
Yeah, that's a great question. Let me. I'll look through my little.
We've all been
playlist
very saxrified with the performance so far.
I got one. This is off my latest album, Go Time Live in LA. It's a Louis Jordan song that I've saxophized.
Yeah,
It's called,
you're gonna have me doing sax puns the entire weekend.
You know, there's a lot to work with. It's kind of this once you start, it's hard to stop.
I gotcha.
But I'm in full support of that and of you and your sax puns, Kabir. So if you come up with some, shoot me some new ones.
I will.
So this is a little Is You Is or Is You Ain't My Baby. And on our live recording, we actually had a great tap dancer join us. So that's a little bit of what you're hearing. I got a man who's always late every time we have a date, but I love him. Yes, I love him. I'm gonna walk up to his gate and see if I can get it straight, 'cause I want him. And I've gotta have him. Is you is or is you ain't my baby. You know, the way you're acting lately makes me doubt. Is you is or is you ain't my baby. Seems the flame in your heart has gone out. My baby, be my baby, be my baby. Be my baby, be my baby, be my baby. I got a man who's always late every time we have a date, but I love him. Yes, I love him. I'm gonna walk up to his gate and see if I can get it straight, 'cause I want him. And I've gotta have him. I'm singing, is you is or is you ain't my baby. You know, the way you're acting lately makes me doubt. I said, is you is or is you ain't my baby. Seems the flame in your heart has gone out. Woo, is you is or is you ain't my baby. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Seems the flame in your heart has gone out. creature that has always been strange. Just when you think you're his, he's gonna made a change. He's gone and made a change. Yeah, I'm singing, is you is or is you ain't my baby. You know, the way you're acting lately makes me doubt. You have always been my baby, baby. Seems the flame in your heart has gone out. Be my baby, 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 be my baby.
Clockwise, counterclockwise, up, down, left, right, diagonal.
I like the panning is really.
Yeah, we're gonna pan the applause.
Oh my gosh! Thank you all. Thank you so much. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed.
That was amazing. You are amazing. Singer, songwriter, saxophonist, artist, conceptual artist, educator, thinker, breather, cell divider, because your cells are and replicating. You do it all. Thanks so much for being on the show and for gracing the gracefulness of the show. Now I'm doing puns with your name. So
You're already in the zone. I love the punny zone. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for having me on, Kabira. I really love the series, and I'm so happy to see you, even though we're not in person, but I feel like we're in person. And thanks for having me.
Of course. For those of you at home, check out Grace Kelly, gracekellymusic.com.
Yes.
Check her out on Instagram. Subscribe to her on YouTube. Great videos online. We didn't even get into that. Incredible videos online. And check out her extended discography. Start at the beginning and listen to the today. You'll be going for a couple months, but it's well worth it because she's an amazing person and amazing artist. So thank you for joining us. A quick shout out to our spiritual guidance and technical support team, Sandra and Camilo. Put your website there. It is soundworksrecording.com. They're open for business. Their calendar got cleared as well, so they kind of jumped in to help me with this. So please help them out. They have two nice little dogs, Oreo and Maui. They're much better to see in person. So if you book a time with them, you could see their dogs as well. So added perk. And tomorrow we have at 3 p.m. Eastern. Great Heidi Breyer on the piano. At 10 p.m. Eastern, Sarah Partridge, wonderful singer. So that is it. Good night. God bless. And stay healthy.